After Darth Vader's duel with former Master Obi-Wan Kenobi, Darth Sidious brought his badly damaged apprentice to the Reconstruction Center, where he was to be rebuilt. During the confrontation with Kenobi, Vader had sustained near fatal third-degree burns, severe lung damage, and the loss of his remaining limbs, as well as emotional pain. Vader's remaining limbs are retrofitted with the prosthetics inside the main chamber. The damage to his body will be repaired through the intensive cybernetic enhancement at the main laboratory. Palpatine also orders several medical droids, a T-1B surgical robot, one FX-6 medical assistant robot, and one DD-13 cybernetic surgical robot to keep Vader awake during surgery so the pain would make him stronger. T-1B have a long experience with humans since the time of the Old Republic, giving this robot a caring bedside manner. Both were used to treat Anakin and Luke Skywalker's injuries. Many of these droids have either participated in or observed the transformation of General Grievous. During his transformation as a cyborg, the worker didn't know it was Vader who was being worked on. Much like Vader, Grievous was also converted into a cyborg with many cybernetic implants, craving the power to defeat the Jedi Order. Only his brain, eyes, several vital organs, and spinal cord remain. When the emergency medical droids began the 8-hour surgery that would have killed Anakin Skywalker and see him reborn as Darth Vader, complication surfaced. A DD-13 HK droid oversaw his cybernetic implants installation, while an FX-6 performed blood transfusion and did what he could for Vader's eyes, vocal cords, face, and legs. What took the most time was connecting his detached nerve ending to his new cybernetic limbs and the use of synth skin. While the synth skin is great for fleshing out limbs and making his exoskeleton look vaguely humanoid, it also has a tendency to rot if it doesn't bode well to other organic flesh around it. This was a real problem in the early years when Vader's synth skin had to be scrubbed of the dead flesh that would accumulate when the real flesh touches synthetic. Before moving forward, I want to thank our sponsor for this video, NordPass. If you're like me, you're probably in forgetting password for an account that you haven't logged in for a while, and you have to try on multiple occasions before eventually hitting that I forgot my password. So when NordPass reached out and offered to sponsor, I couldn't be happier to solve this common problem. NordPass is the easiest way to secure your accounts, credit card, and password, all in a stress-free and minimal-looking platform built for every major operating system including Mac, Windows, Android, and iOS. NordPass is very convenient since it stores all your password in one place, so there's no need to memorize all your password. Access all your logins with the talking points to a single master password. The software will generate a secure password. The more complex the password, the safer your account. In addition, you can shop and browse faster by storing your credit card and personal data on NordPass. It also saves you a lot of time and headaches. NordPass syncs your credentials across 6 of your devices, so you don't need to type them each time you pick up a new gadget. Use Password Help to check if your password are weak, older than 90 days, or used for several accounts. Get an exclusive NordPass deal plus 1 additional month for free at nordpass.com/halfscreen or use the code halfscreen during checkout. Darth Vader's suit is a complex blend of biomechanics, technology, and ancient Sith magic. It serves as both a life support system and a suit of armor to protect the amalgamation of organic flesh, mechanical limbs, and the synthetic organs beneath it. Is there any reason why the dark side flowed through Vader so powerfully? There are forces at work with his suit that assist in his constant bad mood. His helmet, while an intimidating skull-like addition, protect his face as well as stick needles into his skin to feed his central chest computer with neurological data on his brainwave activities. All along his body was a series of tiny needles that poke at him to collect diagnostic data that was stored in a permanent archive and were also being used to nourish him throughout his body. Vader was told by Palpatine that the needles contained chemicals to lessen his perception of pain, but they were purely placebo and didn't have any effect. and only served to further infuriate Vader. The Mercy medical droids also implanted an enunciator that enabled his vocal cord to work and to simulate a deep baritone voice, which is nothing but a whisper when his mask is off. An air pump in the top of Vader's mask, as well as a ventilator, give his breathing a particular sound. Due to the extended injuries at the hand of Obi-Wan Kenobi, Vader's nervous system and skeleton needed to be completely replaced with new parts. Since his suit acts as both a life support system and several artificial body parts, he would have died without its functionality. The suit was wired with the sensors that connect to a diagnostic system all over his body, which monitor his respiratory, pulmonary, and neural interfaces. The chest box computer, along with the rest of his life support system, were designed to run for weeks at a time, but before his monthly checkups, he can recharge his suit with the access port behind his chest box. All of these implants are connected by a thick central cable to the chest computer, with an additional set of cables connecting the lungs and throat, added after 2.5 hours of surgery. It's been decades since Lord Vader had the ability to enjoy a good steak. For most of his life as a cyborg, his systems run purely on a steady flow of dark side rage and RepMed Vital Paste, an edible paste provided for those being unable to consume food normally. In order to optimize the efficiency of any high-functioning piece of machinery, it has to be well maintained and cleaned on a regular basis. Made of a combination of alloys, including dual steel, its surfaces are saturated with the alchemy of dark side, a method used by Sith priests to enchant Sith armor and make it virtually shatterproof. Like the ancient Sith warriors of the distant past, Vader's suit was designed after their intimidating facade. Relying on a diet that contains very little in the way of solid foods meant that all waste product could be easily pumped out through a complex series of pouches, tubes, and pipes. His complex waste management system was never mentioned by Vader's personal medical staff. However, all these linkages were faulty and unreliable, thus forcing Vader to undergo frequent maintenance of his suit and to be dependent on the Imperial medical specialists for the rest of his life. It was speculative that Palpatine deliberately allowed these design flaws in order to keep Vader from rebellion. Due to the sensitive nature of the internal structural elements of the suit, as well as the dedicated sensor array and the mechanical components, sadly, he can never change his suit or risk death. Let's take a closer look at Darth Vader's lightsaber. On the back were the power cell and hand grip, and toward the front were the blade link adjust. The blade of the saber is generated when the activation level is pressed. Vader's hilt was about 28 centimeters or 11 inches in length and is made of an alloy metal and carbon composite materials. The saber was partly electronic, but included an energy modulation circuit, a pair of cycling fuel energizers, and 2 kyber crystals that cannot be made artificially. The focusing crystal must be perfectly aligned. Even the slightest misalignment of the focusing crystal will cause the weapon to detonate upon activation. The dilithium power cell was the primary power source for a lightsaber and one of the critical components of a lightsaber's hilt, and located directly below the primary crystal mount. Surrounding the power cell was the power field conductor and power vortex ring. Energy is being channeled to the primary crystal and through a series of focusing crystals. A Jedi Knight or Sith Lord assembled his lightsaber by hand as part of his training. The main reason why only Jedis and Sith can make them is because building a lightsaber is one of the most difficult and mandatory tasks for the Jedi and Sith Lord to accomplish.
I see you have constructed a new lightsaber. Your skills are complete. Indeed you are. are powerful as the Emperor has foreseen.
A villain like Darth Vader is destined to be a great, iconic figure forever. The reason why we fear him so much is because he partly reflects ourselves, our fears, our anger, and emotions. He was a villain that we both respect and admire, a machine without emotion, ruthless and intelligent, but a desperate man trying to hide his sadness through his pain and rage. Darth Vader was not only a character, it's a story, or more precisely, a tragedy, the tragedy of Anakin Skywalker, and a cautionary tale of being seduced by the dark side and the lust for power above everything else. At the very beginning, Anakin Skywalker was a kid from Tatooine who was the chosen one of a prophecy saying that he will bring back balance to the Force. Anakin spent the next decade training under Obi-Wan and proved himself an immensely skilled Jedi who also has a tendency toward recklessness. But through the years, he was manipulated by Palpatine and was left for dead after his duel with Obi-Wan Kenobi. It was Anakin's inability to control his emotion that would later be his downfall. I hope you enjoyed this extended look at the creation of Darth Vader. And if you haven't seen part 1, check out my playlist on the right hand corner. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.